Coming to College Sports Recruiting Simplified, College Sports Informational. We at NCSA, Next College Student Athlete, really appreciate not only you attending today the college fair, but also taking advantage of the myriad of workshops that are available as part of the college fair event. My name is Julian Jenkins. I'm the Director of Regional Recruiting at an organization called Next College Student Athlete. And I really want to thank your counselors, your teachers, and everybody that went into making this event possible. And I hope you get a lot out of this. You guys kind of see the challenge down there at the bottom of the screen. It is want to play college sports. And that's what we're going to talk about, right? There's going to be workshops you're going to take for financial aid, workshops you're going to take for applications, workshops you're going to take for SAT, ACT. But every year I've been able to come to your guys' area and really answer questions about the college sports recruiting process. And we usually get a lot out of that, right? There's a lot of laughs in the fact that everybody wants to go and play at UCLA and USC, Stanford, and I understand that, which is great. But we're also going to talk about, how to play Division I, Division II, D3, NAIA, community college, all levels of competition. So if you want to play college sports, this is a great presentation for you guys here today. And I thank you for attending and wanting to learn more about how to get competitive at the next level of competition. I also have an opportunity for you guys to get access to not only this presentation, but the college recruiting worksheet that I have that's an addendum to the presentation today, guys. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get in touch with college coaches. I have the opportunity for you to create an online profile with college coaches today. So you want to go to ncsarecruits.com, ncsarecruits.com to get access to that recruiting worksheet. It's going to follow along directly with this presentation, so you can go there now and create an online profile with college coaches today. I'm going to talk about the impact that can have. So let's start out, guys, by normally I would be there in person with you, table to table, minute to minute, answering your questions about the recruiting process. And I want you to take advantage of the colleges that volunteered their time, the admissions people that volunteered their time to make sure you get up-to-date information about how to get into their schools, their academic programs. But we're having this presentation here today, guys, to make sure you understand how to get recruited to play college sports. I assume if you're on this presentation, you want to play at the next level. You're either about to play high school sports, you're currently playing high school sports, or you're on your way as a junior and senior onto getting some type of opportunity to playing college sports. So this is me here, guys. I played not only high school football, basketball, I ran track out of Atlanta, Georgia. I went on to get a phenomenal opportunity to play football at Stanford University. They paid for 4 years of my education at Stanford. You can do the math on how much that would have cost my family, how much it would cost your family as well. And so I want to make sure you feel comfortable as you come into the presentation here, guys, and understand that I've gone through this and other young men and women have gone through this process. Other parents, other counselors and coaches have gone through this process. So today we want to tackle academics, right? It's so huge to understand that you have to qualify in order to play at the next level of competition. Eligibility, right? Like, what do I need to become cleared by a college coach in order to play day one at a school? The recruiting timeline. So making sure that you stay on track with everything you need to be doing timeline-wise, and how to get exposure, right? Like how to get college coaches to know who you are, and next steps, right? Like you have the inspiration and you're motivated to play sports. You make sure you get on track academically and eligibility-wise, and then you stay on track with the timeline. But what do you need to do after today, right? Like what are your next steps in recruiting after today? Now, the biggest thing, guys, is focusing on what you can be doing now. There's so much information out there on what you can't be doing, right? We want to talk in this presentation about what you can and should be doing now. We understand with COVID-19 updates, guys, we're not currently playing sports in high school in the fall. We're going to be having that pushed back to December, January. Hopefully that goes as scheduled, guys. And every single one of you guys get an opportunity to compete in high school sports these seasons, right? I know it's important to you. It's important to me as well. I can't imagine what I would have done without high school sports and the opportunity to go on and play college sports, right? So COVID-19 updates from a college recruiting standpoint. There's what's called a dead period in college sports where a college coach can physically be on a high school campus after a certain date during a dead period, September 30th. At first, it was April, then it was May, then it was June, then it was July, and then it went into September 30th is when a college coach can physically be on a high school campus watching you guys play in person. But I don't want you to focus on what you can't do, right? The college coaches are so excited to interact with you. They're so excited to evaluate you. They're so excited to eventually get you to a camp or watch a video of you online of playing your sport, interact with you somehow. And this is what we're really here for, guys. I'm going to talk to you later about Next College Student Athlete. We're the largest recruiting organization in the country that college coaches use to find prospects. But today, I want you to focus on what you can be doing. Academics, right? It's so important that you're taking the time at learning at a distance right now to be improving your academics. The number one thing that set me apart from competition growing up in Atlanta, you're growing up in California, is that I looked very similar to a lot of athletes out there from an athletic standpoint. Same height, same weight, same skill set, but academically, I kicked all their butts. And you're going to have to kick butts in recruiting, but first it starts with what you're doing in the classroom. Strength and conditioning, right? You may not be able to meet with your teammates right now, but with your coaches and with your teammates virtually, you need to be working on your strength and conditioning. Think about this. Will you be ready athletically by the time you can play sports in person? Will you be in condition? Will you be ready strength-wise to be able to do so? Think about that. Mental training, right? We all need to take a deep breath and understand that we are in a very trying time, right? And so the consistency with you wake up, go to class, you wake up, train, go to class, you wake up, train, go to class, talk to your teammates, talk to your coaches, you wake up, train, go to class, talk to your teammates, talk to your training, write in your journal. Your schedule and your consistency is going to help with your mental training so that by the time you get back to playing sports in person, you'll have a schedule that works for you and you'll be mentally consistent enough to deal with the adversity. Sports has enough adversity to begin with, guys, and you're going to have to be dealing with all of it. You want to be mentally fit. The other and the last piece I want to talk about is doing more than your competition, right? Right now, there are people that are stuck and they can't get unstuck. And it's tough because of everything going on, but you gotta do more than your competition. Not everybody goes on to play college sports. I can't sit up here and lie to you and tell you that. But those that get an opportunity to play are the ones that are doing more than their competition. So do not sit idle. And then, I could have put a t-shirt on right now, guys, but I'm a national speaker. And so I wore a polo shirt, right? Because that's what coaches, that's what speakers do. So you want to start dressing for the job that you want, right? So you got to be training. You got to take your academics serious. You got to start, thinking about, your goals long-term because you want to look ready. By the time a coach looks at your video, looks at your academics, you want to look ready. Academics. I talked about academics being a huge piece of the puzzle, okay? Why is that? Because you have to get into the schools that you want to play for eventually and have those schools not only impact the 4 years you end up going to that college, but the 40 years and for the rest of your life, right? So if you fail to plan in recruiting, if you fail to plan for college, then you should plan to fail, right? So I put a checklist together, guys. You can take a screenshot of this or you can have the recording and go back to this later. But this is giving you an opportunity to learn what I didn't necessarily learn in the process, but I had to learn along the way, right? That there are classes that you're going to have to take, aside from just graduating from high school, aside from getting into a UC or Cal State school, there are a select number of classes and type of classes you're going to have to take at your high school in order to be academically qualified to play college sports. What are they called? NCAA, core classes. You need to take 16 of them, right? How does this compare to A through G, right? If you just followed A through G requirements, and you could talk to your counselor about A through G requirements as well to get into UC and Cal State schools, you might fall short of your 16 core classes. So understand, guys, you need to take 16 core classes in order to go on and play college sports and have a minimum of a 2.3 GPA. Why do I say minimum and focus on that? Because public schools are telling us they want kids with over 3.0 GPAs. Private schools are telling us they want guys with over and girls with over 3.5, 3.8 GPAs. 2.3, yes, is the minimum. So I'm not going to say that if you have a 2.8 or 2.5 that you can't go on to play college sports. I sent 20, 30 kids last year that had a 2.8, 3.0 to play college sports, but the minimum is 2.3. 75% of these classes need to be completed before the 7th semester. What does that mean? Before you enter your senior year, you should have 75% of your classes completed that go towards your core course total, right? The biggest thing is sitting down and meeting with your counselor and making sure you get on track with your core classes. Then along the way, you're going to have your counselor send transcripts to schools. That's going to be how those schools prefer to get your academics. Mom and dad can't just send unofficial transcripts. Why? Because every mom and dad would put on A and or B on a kid's transcript so they can get into school. So they use a verified source, your high school counselor, to get your transcripts, guys. SAT and ACT, right? This is something everybody used to get so excited about. Yeah, right. But ultimately, SAT, ACT, I'd love for you to take them. Why? Because if you can take the SAT and ACT, I talked about it. If you have the same GPA and the same talent level as an athlete, and you're the one that took the SAT or ACT and they didn't, right, they may consider you more valuable as a recruit simply because you took the SAT and ACT. So I would still take it if you get a chance to do it. Juniors and seniors, please take the SAT, ACT if you have a chance. If you don't, a lot of schools are going testing optional, right? So meaning that they're not going to hold it against you that you didn't take a standardized test. So applications, right, and doing them correctly, making sure that you are doing essays, taking advantage of interviews. If you get to interview with that college, even if it's virtually, is going to be huge. The SAT, ACT for the class of 22 and 23 still required. You're a freshman, sophomore, junior on this call today, guys, on this meeting, is still required for you. Apply to colleges, guys. A lot of athletes and their families don't think they have to apply to college. Apply to college as if you weren't even going to play sports in college, right? The mistake that a lot of families make is that they put a lot of eggs in the athletic basket, and they forget, like, you could hurt yourself. You could break an arm, or you could, not have a chance to play, and you would still get into these colleges that are your dream or your target schools if you apply. And apply by the application deadlines. Graduate from high school. It goes without saying you need to graduate from high school. Absolutely. So here's an exercise. I want you to kind of look at this, guys. This kid got an A in PE, an A in art, an A in life skills, right? But a C in math, C in science, B in history, C in English, right? He had a 3.0 plus, 3.14 GPA, but he became a non-qualifier. Why? Because he had under a 2.3 GPA in his core classes. Let that marinate for a little bit, right? You can graduate from your high school. You could have over a 3.0 GPA, but you need to check with your counselor to make sure you're on track with your core classes to make sure you become a qualifier in the classes that matter. Not that PE and art and life skills don't matter. They definitely matter, but to college coaches, they want to see how you measure up in your core classes. So I wanted to simplify it for you, right? Academic eligibility, initial eligibility from your amateurism status, and then talk about other divisions. Academically, I used a 4x4 calculation, right? Taking 4 core classes, 4 years that you're in high school. I ended up taking, 18 core classes. Why? Because I was trying to juggle so much and I wanted to make sure that I qualified. So you can take more than you need, but 4x4, 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 4 years of science, and then 4-year combination of social science, foreign language, and other college prep classes that you have at your high school. Again, reach out to your school counselor, sit down. Here's what you say. Counselor, I want to go to college. That's number one. Counselor, I want to play sports in college, and then they can help keep you on track. The earlier you start this process of becoming eligible, the better off you're going to be. Seniors, do not get anxious about not qualifying to play college sports because you're probably on track already with your classes. You just want to check with your counselor. Initial eligibility, okay? So ultimately, the reason I am doing this call for you guys and we're having this meeting is because a college coach has a lot of influence in helping you get into the school. Honestly, that website for Division I, Division II, and Division III, eligibilitycenter.org. You want to go there now or come back to this video and type that in to your search browser and register for the NCAA eligibility. Why? Because this enables a college coach to take your transcripts and be able, and your SAT score and your application, and to be able to recommend you for their college. That means a lot that the Stanford coach took my information and walked it right down to the admissions office and say, you know what, I can't get this guy into school, but I can recommend that he be a good fit for our school. I'm going to talk about different levels of competition here in a minute, but let's talk about other divisions, right? Because you guys understand UCLA Division I, Cal State LA Division II, UC Santa Cruz Division III. You guys may be more familiar with that, but NAIA, the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, the California community colleges outside of the state of California, there are different organizations that you need to become privy to. Why? Because you may only know 5 schools that you really want to go to, and you got to start building lists of schools, but there are over 1,800 colleges across the country that have sports programs. I want to reiterate the NCAA. We at NCSA, Next College Student Athlete, we have a great relationship with the NCAA. And what they do is, again, they pre-qualify student athletes from an academic standpoint for sports at their college, right? So they certify that you are who you say you are, your transcripts, your amateurism. It costs $90 if you're pretty sure you want to play at Division I, Division II level of competition. Pay the $90, register for the NCAA Eligibility Center, and get a certified account. If you're kind of up in the air, I don't know if I want to play at the biggest schools out there, but I know I want to start getting verified in this process, create a profile for free at eligibilitycenter.org. Now, NCSA, my organization, we work with all those college coaches, and we'll talk about like how to get involved with creating an online presence for coaches right now. But at the very least, you want to register for the NCAA Eligibility Center. If you have questions, I'm going to have my contact information at the bottom of the screen, guys. You can contact me anytime with questions. What's the difference between all of these schools, right? Is it a Division III or a Division I school really better than a Division III school? You know, what's up with Division II? Guys, different students at different levels compete at different levels of competition, right? Different competitors at different levels of competence, right? Compete at different levels of competition, okay? So if I broke it down, right? Division I level of competition, you guys have heard of them on television or watched them in person. UCLA, USC, Cal Berkeley, my bitter rival, because I played at Stanford, right? Division I, large student population, a lot of revenue generated by these schools, right? Increased time demands of student athletes, more television exposure on major networks. Division II, right? Athletic scholarships, yes. Smaller populations, more regional competition, right? So Cal State LA, Cal State Dominguez Hills, right? Cal State East Bay, for those of you that come to Northern California. Less revenue generated, but still very good athletes that are maybe not nationally recognized, but at the very least regionally and statewide recognized. Division III, right? You guys see up there, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the top 5 schools in America. So when you ask somebody, is Division III lesser than Division I? Think about it. Is MIT lesser than any school out there? Absolutely not, right? Smaller student popularity. A lot of private schools are at the Division I level. They don't give athletic scholarships, but they give academic funding based on merit. And for a lot of families that qualify, based on need, right? There are a lot more Division III schools in Division I. Why? Because they offer academic funding and don't have to rely on athletic scholarships. Think about it. Would you rather get a chance to play, start, get academic money at a Division III school where you're going to get a chance to play, or sit on the bench at a Division I school or Division II school? It's kind of up to you and your priorities. Let me break it down again so you can see it visually. Division I, public school, Cal Berkeley, UCLA. Division I private school, Loyola Marymount. Division II private school, Concordia in Irvine. Division II public, the Cal States, a lot of them. Cal State Monterey Bay, Cal State Dominguez Hills. Private schools, right? Claremont Mudd Scripps cost $60,000 a year to go to, right? But for a lot of student athletes that qualify academically and maybe need-based, they're getting a good amount of that paid for at a school that costs a lot to go to. Again, the price tag they put on that school, they put that price tag on that school because they think that will be a very valuable education for you to take it to the rest of your life. That's why it costs to go there. Private school at the NAIA level, Menlo College. Only 800 students, but a great intimate environment. They do have athletic scholarships at the NAIA level of competition. Tough to know, whether you're a good fit for one school or another, but definitely worth searching through and definitely worth your time of trying to make sure that you understand the different levels of competition. Okay, this graph may help because I know that a lot of you guys have chosen UCLA, USC as your top schools, but I want you to think about this and understand that if you're a basketball player, right, USC is going to have 12 guys on their basketball team, and they're going to only offer 4 scholarships per year. 4 scholarships for the class of 2021, 4 scholarships for 2022, and that's it, right? And that's not even including kids from Northern California, Southern California, Colorado, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from, international students, right? And so you got to think about it. You have to cast a large net, a wide net for these colleges and become eligible and desirable to all of these schools. And I want you to look at that graph, right? 20% are Division I, schools, a lot of that you heard of. 80% of where students get a chance to play and get the quality of education they feel like they're deserving of are outside of Division I, D2, D3, NAIA, and community college, right? That includes your California community colleges, which is a great step in the right direction for a lot of you guys to show promise at a California community college before you transfer to a 4-year school and pay for a 4-year school education. Nothing is more important than finding a right fit, guys. It took me 2 years. It took me and my mom 2 years to find schools that were a great fit for me. We had to build lists of schools. We had to go and get everything organized and make sure that we were presenting me, right, as prepared in this process. So where am I qualified to play, right? You're qualified to play at places that want you to compete, schools that you can get into, and places where you probably have a likelihood after 1 or 2 years of getting a chance to play. Finding the right fit, right? Academically, does that school have your major and will it be challenging for you academically? Do they have what you want to turn into a career one day? Do they have what you want to turn into 1, 2, or 3 careers one day, right? Don't just go to a technical school, right? If you plan to be a writer and you want to be at a liberal arts education and would benefit from that, and vice versa is true as well. Athletically, can I play there, right? Now, I wish you could go right now, but eventually you're going to be able to go watch a practice at a community college, watch a game at a Division I, Division II, Division III school, and really figure out, like, can you literally, after 1 or 2 years being there, get on the field and compete with that level of competition? I want you to have confidence about this because that coach needs to want you more than you want to go to that school. Socially, is it a school where I'm comfortable? There were colleges, guys, I can't name them, that I didn't feel comfortable there. I didn't feel at home. You're going to be there for 2 years, right? Or you're going to be there for 4, 5, 6 years if you get a master's or professional degree, guys. You want to feel like it's your second home. You want to feel like your parents, your siblings can come, your friends can come and spend time with you. Those coaches are going to be your mentors, right? Those teammates are going to be your friends and people that you're going to get to know for your entire life. Geographically, I have to say this, guys, I'm from Atlanta. I live in California. I know how beautiful it is and why you don't want to leave. However, I want you to think about this. Are you going to become a local recruit, a regional recruit, or a national recruit? So geographically, guys, let's say you go through the process of qualifying for an institution, right? Let's say you take your SATs, right? Let's say you make sure that you get everything together that those college coaches need to evaluate you, and you only look at schools right in your backyard, right? You'll be doing yourself a disservice. Why? Because schools in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Texas, they love California volleyball players. Schools in Oregon, schools in Maryland and Washington, D.C., they love California baseball players. Why? Because you guys play year-round. And I don't want you to get down that you can't be playing right now. There's college coaches out there looking for you. Finding the right fit, right? So I talked about schools at different levels of competition. Why did I talk about that? Because I want you to understand the different levels of competition, right? Division I, right? Over 300 volleyball programs out there, D2, D3, NAIA, right? 12 scholarships on that team that are offered, right? Total, right? So maybe 3 per year at the Division I schools like Loyola Marymount. Division II, so schools like San Marcos, giving 2 scholarships per year, 8 total on that team, okay? No scholarships at D3, academic funding that they offer, right? So if you're a good student and if your family may be of need, as long as you apply yourself and go through this process, you may qualify for academic funding. NAIA, Menlo College, right? Hope International in Southern California, those types of schools are offering funding if you're the right fit for them. The recruiting timeline. Now, before I talk about the recruiting timeline, I want to take a break and say that, there are a lot of students out there and their families that have a lot of questions about the recruiting process. And I'm going to get to your questions here at the end of the presentation, but I also am sharing my contact information so that you can reach out to me directly with any one-on-one questions you have. And I already talked about at the home screen is that I'm putting together a workbook, and you guys will be able to take that workbook home with you, and you'll be able to go through that workbook as many times as you need to in order to verify the fact that you're on track with the recruiting process, and then you'll be able to create an online profile to connect with college coaches. Let's talk about this timeline of recruiting. Recruiting began for me when a high school coach came and tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Julian, I think you can play college sports," right? So I had to go home and I talked to my mom. I said, "Mom, my coach believes in me. He thinks I can play college sports." So you guys that are out there, your coaches probably believe in you, your counselors, your teachers believe in you too. And so wherever you're at, senior, junior, freshman, sophomore, the recruiting timeline, I'm going to go through these dates, but the recruiting timeline that starts is right now for you, right? And for some of you that are juniors and seniors, it started yesterday, okay? And so at any point in time, scrap this timeline and understand you can contact college coaches at any point in time, all right? At any point in time, you can talk to these college coaches. You can pick up the phone and email them. You can go to social media and follow them at any point in time. So as you look at this chart for men's sports, when do college coaches normally contact student athletes? You see there's a lot of yellow in there. So by the time you are a junior in high school, whether you play baseball or soccer or cross country, whether you're a swimmer or a football player, college coaches can be contacting you by the time you're a junior in high school. Does that mean you're not going to get contacted in your senior year? No, it doesn't. It just means as early as sophomore and junior year, college coaches can be contacting you. So what do you need to do? You need to realize that that is a reality and that coaches can be contacting you, and you need to get prepared, right? In women's sports, Coaches contact even earlier. Why? Because a lot of female athletes develop earlier than male athletes. Okay, so in a sport like softball, look at that. 43% of student athletes in softball are being contacted by the time they're a ninth grader in high school. And so you may look up your own rules in the recruiting process and they will say to you, wait, it means, you know, I heard online or I saw online that a college coach can't call my daughter until the junior year. I know that. But ultimately, you can create something and send something to that college coach that can recognize your kid as being somebody that wants to play college sports, and they can track their progress every step of the way as early as freshman year. Or a college coach can reach out to your club coach. They can reach out to the counselor at your high school. They can reach out to your high school coach, even as a freshman and sophomore, and start the recruiting process for you. So take a picture of this, guys, or scroll back and snapshot this later, but it's important information to know. So let's get in the mind of a college coach, right? Because ultimately, even though you may apply to a college in your senior year, and you may have built a list of schools in your junior year and started targeting those schools, the college coach, let's be real, the college coach is the one who decides whether or not you get a chance to play at that school, and a lot of times whether or not you get athletic funding at that college. So let's try to do our best not only to please the desires of these college coaches, but also make yourself more available so they can find you, okay? So 9th and 10th grade, not only can college coaches send information like materials directly to you. Some of you guys as juniors and seniors, because you took the PSAT, you might be getting those pamphlets in the mail, or you're getting emails from admissions offices out there, right? So 9th grade, all schools can send you materials. Division III schools like Santa Cruz, NAIA schools like Hope International and Menlo College, they can call you. They can follow you on social media. They can DM you. They can come watch you play in person when allowable, right? And then skills camps are great ways to not only build schools, build lists of colleges you're interested in, but showcase your skills at those events. You need to start building an online resume because these college coaches, again, they can be identifying you and they can be contacting you. 10th grade, all schools can send materials, but now they can start actually making direct contact, right? In a lot of different sports, Division I and Division II schools after June 15th of the sophomore year, right? Meaning a rising junior, meaning that if you're in the class of 2022, right, a college coach can already have been getting in contact with you, emailing, calling, reaching out to you through social media, evaluating your video. Coaches, a lot of them are evaluating players online, even if they're not evaluating them in person right now, guys. So you want to get your stuff together and find out what coaches need in order to be able to get evaluated. 11th grade, by the time you're in a junior in high school, every college coach out there can make contact with you. So take advantage of it. It doesn't mean that you're so far behind that you can't make up ground if you are a junior and senior and coaches haven't contacted you. It just means that you need to get to work. You can start taking visits to schools as early as sophomore and junior year. Right now, college coaches are doing what's called virtual visits, meaning they're doing this here, right? They are putting your name on the back of a jersey along with your number, putting it in the locker, and they're taking video of themselves saying, hey, this is what the training table, meaning the cafeteria, is going to look like when you come here. Hey, this is what the locker room is going to look like. This is what the stadium is going to look like. And they're doing walking tours virtually with students on campus, and you want to be off campus virtually, so you want to take advantage of it. When you can get back to playing, you want to be taking advantage of camps in person. You want to start building lists of schools, because ultimately these coaches are narrowing down their prospect lists, and you want to make sure you make yourself identifiable so you can get on those lists. Coaches start making verbal offers to students as early as 10th and 11th grade. What does that mean? That they verbally pick up the phone and say, Julian Jenkins, right? Or John Doe, we're offering you a scholarship to come play at the University of Southern California. Okay, now Stanford is probably going to beat USC in every other sport, you know, next season when they can. But ultimately, you know, you can get an offer as early as sophomore, junior year, senior year to play college sports. And you can verbally commit. You can say, Coach, I commit, I want to go to your school. It's not a legally binding contract, but you can verbally commit if a school offers you. 12th grade, all coaches can make direct contact. You can keep taking unofficial and official visits. Again, you want to fill out college applications just as if you're going to that school academically and not sports-wise. And then you're going to continue to make verbal commitments to those schools. And then signing day, right? As early as November, December of the senior year, and as regular as February, March, April of the senior year, you're going to sign on the dotted line to whatever school you want to go to. That will be a binding contract that says, I want to go to this school. Okay. So I wanted to put you in the mind of college coaches to make sure that you understand that they're not just sitting on their hands and you can't just sit on yours either. So how to get evaluated. Okay. What are coaches looking for? Okay. They need you to have everything, right? Like coaches aren't mind readers. Right? And they're not going to chase you around California and around the country trying to track down your information. They're just not going to do it. They're going to make sure they find and identify, evaluate, and pick those student athletes that present themselves as the most readily available, right? So you want to put together a brag sheet, a resume. If you sit next to your mom and dad, Mom, Dad, what's a resume? Ask them, right? It is a document that you put together that proves that you were qualified for the job at hand. You're trying to get the job of going to college. You're trying to get the job of playing college sports. And believe me, it is a job, okay? When I played at Stanford, I would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, go work out, right? Then I would go to breakfast, and I would go to school from 8 to 2 p.m., practice from 2 to 6 p.m., mandatory study hall, right? Wake up and do it all over again for 9 to 10 months out of the year, guys. And so you want to make sure that you're putting together a good looking resume. And some of these things on here, you want to put it all together, right? You want to have video. You want to have your stats, right? You want to have your experience level. What camps have you been going to? Your social media, right? What is your hashtag? And your communication organized along with your transcripts, your academics, and what your high school coach and club coach thinks about you all on one page. And where? Online. Make yourself readily available for college coaches can find you online. Video. You got to look good to these college coaches, right? Again, if you can't be playing right now and you don't have a physical video of your playing experience, a skills video, right? A baseball, softball player, you can go out and take batting practice, doing fielding drills. A soccer goalkeeper, you can take video with a trainer, being able to, capture what your skill set is on video is crucial. Stats, right? A 40-yard dash time in football, an approach jump in volleyball, your batting average, your home to first time in baseball and softball, camps. Don't pay all your money, guys, to go to every camp that's out there. You want to find out which camps are going to be a good fit for you. Social media. Okay. I'm going to get to social media here in a minute, so I'm going to save that, but do know it's very important. Coaches want to meet you where you're at. So they want to follow you on social media, and you need to look good. Otherwise, they'll delete your account and not consider you as an opportunity for them for the next year. What does an online recruiting profile look like, guys? So as you guys see here at the bottom of the page, next college student athlete, we're the largest network of college coaches out there that are looking to evaluate students' talent. So you're going to be able to put an online profile together, today that's going to make sure that you can send your information directly to those college coaches. And what? It should have your contact information, your coach's contact info, what high school you go to, your stats, right? We just talked about those, your experience level, video, right? That needs to go into one place and be sent to college coaches. Profiles that you put online, like your brag sheet, you put that online, it's 12 times more likely to be seen by coaches if you have video and it's on there. And the purpose of having an online profile is to get greater exposure to college coaches, easily connect with those coaches because they have everything in one place, and then conveniently manage your recruiting process online. So next steps, okay? Ultimately, I want to review a couple of things that we talked about, but I do want to tell you guys that no one out there is going to just do all of this for you, okay? So I work with the largest recruiting network in the country, but student athlete, if you're listening, right, and you're elbowing your parents here, there is a responsibility on your part academically to show up, right? Even on camera right now, don't put your camera, or put yourself on mute when you're taking your classes this fall, guys. You need to represent yourself academically and show up athletically. You need to be training. You need to be getting ready. So when you can actually get a chance to play now, you're going to be ready to compete. The next part of it is parents, right? So you need to hold your students accountable, right? Academically, but also in their training and really helping ease their mindset. This is a stressful time for them, right? So we want to make sure you're helping stay on top of them, but also trying to make this fun for them and getting connected with their coach and their teammates so that they can stay on top of all of the things they need to stay on top of. 9th and 10th grade, guys, again, as a student, I want you to earn the best grades possible, and I want you to make the team, okay? I want you to start your resume and profile for these college coaches, but I also want you to make sure that you're having fun and that you become passionate about your sport. Play multiple sports. When you get a chance to play, you may not fall in love with one sport over the other. You may love both of them. So I encourage you to play multiple sports. That college coaches love to look at that on the resume, along with things you're doing in the community, along with volunteer opportunities, those types of things. 10th grade, register with the NCAA Eligibility Center. I brought that back on the screen, but I want to make sure that you register in order to be able to play college sports. 10th grade, build a list of target schools and continue your profile for college coaches, right? You need to look good to these schools. Initial outreach, again, college coaches know that you're 15 and 16 years old. They don't expect you to write a 4-page love letter to them professing and announcing how much you want to go to their school. They just want you to present yourself ready and excited and doing the task that they ask you to do. Every college coach and every admissions counselor out here is going to give you a checklist, and they're saying, we need you to do this, this, and this, and this. Those that do it will further get on a coach's radar. Those that don't will not. And it's not easy, guys. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy. It's going to take consistency. It can be scary to pick up your computer or pick up your phone, guys, and text a college coach, to follow a coach on social media. But if you don't do it, somebody in your town that's just as good as you, right? Your neighbor is going to do it, and he or she is going to get the opportunity, and you're not. So you want to get excited about these things. And then when you can go in person again, you want to be attending camps and showcasing events. 11th grade, some of you guys are class of 2022, right? You just got out of being a sophomore. You're already a junior now, okay? And so if you can take the SAT and ACT this year, please do so. If you can't, don't necessarily worry about it. You'll be able to take it next year. Communicate with coaches. Again, it can be intimidating to reach out to a college coach, again, but they just want to make sure that you're interested and that you're excited. Have your parents, have your counselor, have your coach look at a message you might send a coach before you send it to them. Visit colleges. I talked about virtual college visits, but a lot of campuses are pretty partially open at this point to where you could drive over there and just walk around with your parents. Even if you can't do an official tour right now, just see if you like the campus. Send the transcripts to the school. 11th and 12th grade, these schools are going to need to see your transcripts. They're not just going to believe, oh, hey, coach, I get mostly A's and B's. No, they need to see not only the junior and senior year of classes, they're going to look at every class you took while you're in high school, and you want to make sure that you're getting that information to them because they need it. Visit colleges, okay? You want to make sure you're visiting these schools, and you want to make sure that they are interested in you. Complete college applications in the the senior year and commit and sign to play. Guys, when I signed on the dotted line to go to Stanford, it was one of the biggest joys of my lifetime, meaning that I felt a great relief off of my shoulders. Number one, because I was getting to do something that I love to do, and it was something that I would recommend you guys to pursue it to every end to get a chance to play at the next level. And then ultimately an academic piece would be the cherry on top. You send your transcripts to that school. Social media, I talked about it. This can be your best friend or your enemy, right? Because you need to look good to these college coaches and these admissions officers. Every admissions officer you guys meet or somebody that looks at your application, they're going to go straight from your application directly to your social media accounts. Why? Because they want to know that when you get to that college campus, that your reputation aligns with their reputation, right? So if you have any disparaging comments or pictures or anything that doesn't align with your values online, guys, you got to get rid of it, okay? And from a sports perspective, right, I want you guys to look good, right? But I want you to have an athletic profile that showcases your skill set athletically and not necessarily worry about how you look aesthetically. Look athletic, be athletic, and showcase your academics, showcase your athletics, your high school, the reputation of you as an athlete online. So this is what NCSA, Next College Student Athlete, looks like and provides for you as a student athlete. You're going to have that searchable profile online so coaches can find you. You're going to be able to contact any college program that's out there, and you're going to get realistic feedback of whether or not that school is a good fit for you. But you're going to be able to start searching for those schools right away, right? You can look in Southern California, Northern California, Oregon, Washington, on the East Coast, Ivy League, public school, private school. You're going to be able to find those schools, and they're going to be able to find you. Take advantage of this, right? It's at no cost to your family, guys, to have a basic NCSA profile. Take advantage of it because it's going to make you look good to these coaches. A couple of questions before we head out of here, guys, because I want to make sure that you email me, call me, message me if you have questions. But there's a couple of questions that students that are in your district were brave enough, courageous enough to ask, and I want to answer them quickly, guys. What are the requirements to be accepted in college to play a sport? Right? Division I, Division II, D3 all have different requirements, but basically 2.3 minimum. That's the minimum. Public schools are telling us 3.0 or higher. That's what they want. Private schools are saying 3.5 or higher. If you are under that at a 2.5 or a 2.8, can you still get into college? Absolutely, right? But it's a smaller pool of schools that you qualify for than if you had over a 3.0, 3.5, okay? SAT, ACT, right? If you can take it, great. The schools are not holding it against you if you can't take it. And you need to treat yourself as a regular student, right? Of course you're a student athlete, but you need to apply to college like any other student. And then athletically, there are requirements. Coaches have different requirements based on different positions, based on different levels of competition. So you want to reach out to that coach and ask him, Coach, what do I need to do in order to prove to you? What does my batting average need to be? What times do I need to run in track? What times in the swimming pool and different events do I need to qualify for your school? Ask that coach. He or she will tell you. And then if you reach out directly to me, I will send you not only the workbook, guys, but the opportunity to see what qualifications are for every single school. Next question. What do I have to do academically and athletically to draw attention from coaches? Again, make yourself look available, right? When coaches Google search you, right? What are they going to find? Would they find an NCSA profile looking pretty good with your video? Are they going to be able to go to the College Board and find your SATs, go to the Eligibility Center and find your academics? Can they reach out to your counselor at your high school? You want to make sure that you can draw attention by putting yourself online. What are the chances that colleges come and watch you play? Well, right now, until September 30th, they can't come and watch you play in person, but they can see you online, right? So chances are, if you have experience, past experience, whether it be club or high school, put a highlight video together, put a resume together, send that to a college coach so they can see you online. And then it entices them, it appetizes them to come watch you play in person. They need to have a reason. If they fly into LAX or if they come into SFO or Oakland Airport, they need to have a reason to come to your high school or come to watch you at a tournament, or a reason to send you an email, a text, or reach out to you on social media or on the NCSA platform to invite you to a camp. For every scholarship offer received, is it a full ride? No. There's a lot of sports such as volleyball, such as basketball, football that offer a lot of full ride scholarships. But you want to make sure that you can qualify for both academic funding and athletic scholarships. Because if a soccer coach comes to you and says, hey, you know what, we want you to come play at our school, right? We're a Division II school. We can only offer a half of a scholarship. Then guys, you can make up that other half in financial aid grants, okay, or need-based scholarship money based on your family's perceived need, based on your expected family contribution, okay? So you want to make yourself available to these schools, whatever they offer you, right? You want to be able to be offered a spot on the team if they like you, opportunity to play, and then academic or athletic scholarship. So if they don't have athletic scholarship, they can at least offer academic funding. What do I need to be ready? That's a great question. It starts with a sense of urgency, right? If you've listened to this call and you understand, you know what, I need to do at least one thing when I leave this call, right? Or leave this meeting. Register with the NCAA eligibility. Complete your profile here by going to ncsrecruits.com and getting invited to create a profile with NCSA. What do I need to do to be ready? You need to train. You need to think positively of yourself and your peers and the people around you. And then the last thing, you need to ask questions like these courageous young men and women that have done here, right? I lost a lot of momentum, and you will too if you don't just simply ask questions, right? You need to know something, ask your teacher. You need to know something, ask your counselor, ask your coach. And then I have my contact at the bottom of the page, guys. Ask me, right? I'll spend 5 to 15 minutes talking through with you and your family about what you want to accomplish as well. And the last piece, guys, at ncsarecruits.com, you want to create an online profile, guys, so I can get you access to this presentation and a worksheet that covers every bit of detail. So whatever jumped out to you, whatever was magnificent or you think that you need to work on, you can work on those things. And then like you saw that profile and saw how neat and organized and excellent it made that student athlete look, you can create an online profile for college coaches and they can start reaching out to you today at NCSA. Take a screenshot of my contact information, guys. I'm available usually 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And we can spend 5 to 10 minutes kind of talking about your situation, you know, and what's going on with you. I want to thank, obviously, your counselors, administrators, teachers, everybody that went and was involved in putting this opportunity together for you. And I want to say to you, good luck, because thank you for your sacrifice. I know you can't be playing sports right now. And there is more left in the bucket of experience. There's more left in the well of experience for you and your family. But it would do you a disservice to not act now in admissions and act now in the college recruiting process, guys. So good luck. Contact me, even if you just need a pat on the back and somebody to help push you along in this process, guys. That's what I'm here for. That's what your counselors, coaches, and teachers and next college student athlete wants to be here for, to support you guys. Good luck this year, and thank you.